Voice to the World. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Trump downplays tariffs, walk back, indicates new tariffs on smartphones and computers, says looking at semiconductors and electronic supply chain as part of upcoming national security tariff investigations. Amid escalating trade war with the US, Chinese President Xi Jinping to bring 3 Southeast Asian countries to seek stronger regional trade ties. Zelensky urges Trump to visit Ukraine to see devastation after 34 killed in Russian strike in Sumy. White House says strike a stark reminder of need for peace talks. Ousted South Korean President Yoon faces first criminal trial for insurrection after last December's martial law bid. And India joins a lead group of global powers after successfully test-firing laser-directed energy weapon that can shoot down drone by laser beam. On to the details now. US President Donald Trump warned on Sunday that no country would be getting off the hook on tariffs despite a 90-day reprieve on some levies, while also downplaying exemptions for Chinese technology. Trump said that the exclusion of smartphones and computers from his reciprocal tariffs on China will be short-lived, pledging a national security trade investigation into the semiconductor sector. Most nations will now face a baseline 10% tariff for the near 3-month period, except China, which launched a tit-for-tat escalation. Well, Beijing increased its own tariffs on US imports to 125% on Friday in response. Meanwhile, White House trade advisor Peter Navarro said the US has opened an invitation to China to negotiate. Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick earlier on Sunday said that critical technology products from China would face separate new duties along with semiconductors within the next 2 months.
Remember, those products are going to be part of the semiconductor sectoral tariffs, which are coming. So you're going to see this week, there'll be a register in the Federal Registry, there'll be a notice put out. That is different types of work. So we're going to do that. We did that in autos. The president's going to do it for pharmaceuticals, and he's going to do it for semiconductors.
Meanwhile, global markets have been on a roller coaster since Trump's April 2nd tariffs announcement, declining sharply before partially recovering with his 90-day pause on the steepest rates last week. The exclusions announced on Friday were seen as a big break for technology firms such as Apple and Dell Technologies that rely on imports from China. Trump's back and forth on tariffs last week triggered the wildest swings on Wall Street since the COVID pandemic of 2020. The benchmark Standard & Poor's 500 index is down more than 10% since Trump took office on the 20th of January. And Pete Marocco, the Trump administration official who played a key role in dismantling the U.S. Agency for International Development, has left the State Department. Marocco, who served as the Director of Foreign Assistance, was tasked with reviewing foreign aid spending, exposing what the administration called egregious abusers of taxpayer dollars. His departure follows significant cuts to foreign aid programs, with billionaire Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency leading the charge to slash funding and eliminate contractors. Well, Marocco's tenure was marked by controversy, with critics accusing him of destabilizing U.S. foreign policy and endangering humanitarian efforts. And the Israeli military said on Sunday it believes it was successful in intercepting an incoming missile launched from Yemen after air raid sirens sounded across Israel. Yemen's Iranian-backed Houthi movement claimed responsibility, saying in a statement that it had fired 2 ballistic missiles towards a military base in the Israeli port near Tel Aviv. The Houthis have launched missiles and drones at Israel since the current situation in Gaza began in 2023. The Houthis had paused their attacks during a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza that began in January. Israel broke the ceasefire in March, resuming its campaign in Gaza. And Iran's foreign ministry said on Sunday that talks with the United States slated for next weekend would remain indirect with Omani mediation and be focused solely on the nuclear issue and lifting of sanctions. Well, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff held a first round of talks on Saturday in Muscat, marking the highest level Iran-U.S. nuclear negotiations since the collapse of a 2015 accord. Saturday's negotiations came weeks after Trump sent a letter to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei urging nuclear talks while warning of possible military action if Iran refuses. Also, another round of talks will be held on Saturday, that is April 19th. The American news agency Axios reported that the talks will be held in Rome. And Russian missile strike hit the Ukrainian city of Sumy on Palm Sunday, killing at least 34 people and injuring 117 others, including 15 children. The attack occurred on Sunday when 2 ballistic missiles struck the city's center near the Russian border during a time when residents were attending church services. The strike caused widespread destruction, with burning cars and bodies left in the streets. Sumy's acting mayor has also announced 3 days of mourning for the victims starting from Monday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack and demanded a tough international response against Moscow over the attack.
Wars end only when criminal wars are not forgotten and when there is a pressure on the aggressor. This is not happening now. Last Friday, 1 month has passed since Russia rejected the American proposal of a full, unconditional ceasefire. They feel no fear, and that's why there are missiles. That's why there are 100 combat drones each night, most of them Shaheds.
Meanwhile, criticizing the strike, a U.S. National Security Council spokesman Brian Hughes said that the attack is a stark reminder of need for peace talks. Also, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has invited U.S. President Donald Trump to visit Ukraine to witness firsthand the devastation caused by the ongoing conflict. Speaking to an American news channel, CBS News, Zelensky said that he wants Trump to see the impact on civilians, soldiers, hospitals, churches and children before making any decision or engaging in negotiations. This invitation comes as Trump pushes for a swift end to the conflict, with the U.S. exploring potential truces and holding talks with both Ukraine and Russia. Zelensky believes a visit would give Trump a deeper understanding of the situation, allowing him to make more informed decisions about U.S. involvement in potential negotiations with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Also, the U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, took to social media X and said that an attack by Russian forces on civilian targets in the northeastern city of Sumy crosses any line of decency. He further said that these incidents are the reasons why Trump is working hard to end this conflict. Whereas a number of European leaders posted on social media on Sunday in solidarity with Ukraine, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called the attack barbaric, while other leaders like French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz expressed solidarity for the victims and their families. And Chinese President Xi Jinping starts a 3-nation tour of Southeast Asia this week, beginning his state visit with Vietnam. During his visit, he called for stronger cooperation with Vietnam in industrial and supply chains and wider collaboration in emerging fields. Xi also urged strengthening coordination and cooperation through regional initiatives such as the East Asia Cooperation and the Lancang Mekong cooperation. He called such efforts necessary to inject more stability and positive energy into a chaotic and intertwined world. And moving on, ousted South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol faces his first criminal trial on Monday, just 10 days after being dismissed from office by the Constitutional Court. Yoon sought to impose a military rule in the country when he ordered the suspension of political activity and the censorship of media on December 3rd. The decree lasted just 6 hours as it was voted down by opposition MPs. He was removed by the Constitutional Court from office early this month for violating constitutional powers with actions that were labelled a serious challenge to democracy. The Constitutional Court said his martial law declaration on December shocked South Koreans and created chaos in all areas of society, the economy and foreign policy. If convicted, Yoon could face life imprisonment or even the death penalty. And Gabon school leader Brice Oligui Nguema won the presidential election with 90.35% of votes, provisional results showed on Sunday, cementing his grip on power. Nguema's victory further solidifies his control over the country 19 months after he ousted the Bongo family, which had ruled Gabon for over 50 years. Former Prime Minister Eliane Claude Billy Bainese, Nguema's main rival, received just 3.02% in the election, which had 8 candidates. In total, Neze had served under former President Ali Bongo, who was deposed in the coup. An incumbent, Daniel Noboa, held an early lead in Ecuador's presidential election, with voters appearing to back his iron fist approach to rampant cartel-fueled violence. Supporters of incumbent President Daniel Noboa celebrated in Quito's street as he led Ecuador the presidential runoff. With nearly half the votes counted, Daniel led his charismatic leftist rival Luisa Gonzalez with 57% of votes. Million of voters have still to be counted, so the race could yet narrow, but Noboa appeared buoyed as the polls closed. Ecuadorians voted on Sunday in a closely watched presidential election between incumbent Daniel Noboa and leftist candidate Luisa Gonzalez. And Australia's ruling centre-left Labour Party could retain power with a slim majority after a national election on May 3rd, a widely watched poll said on Monday, marking a reversal of sentiment from February when voters wanted it out of office. The election could also deliver a hung parliament, with Labour likely forming a minority government, the poll said. Labour is ahead of the opposition 52-48 on a two-party preferred basis under Australia's preferential voting system, where votes from minor parties are redistributed until a winner is elected. Albany's approval rating has lifted to -4, aligning with an improvement in Labour's rise in support from -20 in February, his worst as Prime Minister. He has also extended his lead as the preferred leader, while opposition leader Peter Dutton's approval fell to among the worst of his term. And a 38-year-old man has been arrested and is due to be charged following an alleged arson attack on the official residence of Pennsylvania Governor Joe Shapiro, authorities have said. Palmer faces charges of murder, terrorism, attempted arson and aggravated assault. He allegedly hopped over a fence, forcibly entered the home and set it on fire using a homemade incendiary device. Governor Shapiro expressed gratitude to law enforcement and first responders for keeping his family safe. He said he had spoken with FBI Director Kash Patel, who he said offered the Bureau's resources in investigating the suspected arson attack.
But we do know that this attack was targeted. We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. And we have a responsibility to all be better.
Well, a memorial mass was held in Haina near the Dominican capital to remember the 226 victims of a devastating nightclub roof collapse earlier in the week. Dominican President Luis Abinadar and First Lady Raquel Arbaje joined hundreds of locals in mourning the tragic event. The ceremony was a tribute to the deceased, including from merengue singer Rapi Perez. The Dominican government released a report about the roof collapse, which did not clarify the causes of the tragedy. Investigations by national and international experts continue while emergency workers search for survivors and support affected families. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Nation pays tribute to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his birth anniversary. Prime Minister Modi to boost connectivity and green energy in Haryana with major infrastructure push on Ambedkar Jayanti. And Murshidabad tense but peaceful, centre shows support as BJP demands president's rule in Bengal. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Vipakshi Khurana. Moving on, India pays homage to the chief architect of the Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, on his birth anniversary today. Dr. Ambedkar donned many hats, being social reformer, economist, politician who dedicated his life for the people. Baba Sahib was awarded India's highest civilian honour, the Bharat Ratna, posthumously in 1990.
Today we commemorate Ambedkar Jayanti, honouring the legacy of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, a pivotal figure in India's history and the principal architect of the Indian Constitution. Born on April 14, 1891, in Mahu, Madhya Pradesh, Ambedkar faced caste-based discrimination from an early age. Despite these challenges, he excelled academically. Ambedkar attended the government school in Mumbai and later pursued higher education at Columbia University in the United States, where he earned his PhD. His academic achievements laid the foundation for his future endeavours in law and social reform. Ambedkar's career was marked by his relentless fight against caste discrimination. He formed the Labour Party and served as the chairman of the Constitution Committee, playing a crucial role in drafting the Indian Constitution, which emphasized fundamental rights and minority protections. Ambedkar famously described Article 32 as the heart and soul of the Constitution, ensuring that citizens could seek justice in the Supreme Court. His vision extended beyond politics. He advocated for the elimination of untouchability and the caste system, believing that true progress could only be achieved through social justice. This laid the groundwork for a more equitable India, allowing citizens to pursue their dreams without the shackles of discrimination. In 1956, Ambedkar embraced Buddhism, symbolizing his rejection of the caste system and his commitment to equality and fraternity. Posthumously awarded the Bharat Ratna in 1990, Dr. Ambedkar's teachings on democracy and human rights continue to inspire millions today. Sujata Lochab for DD India.
And President Draupadi Murmu has greeted fellow citizens on the birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In a message, the President said, and I quote, "In his inspiring life, Baba Saheb created a distinct identity of his own despite facing extreme difficulties and earned respect around the world with his extraordinary achievements. On this occasion, let us pledge to adopt the ideals of Dr. Ambedkar in our lives and work to build a nation that embodies the spirit of social harmony and equality." And in line with his commitment to boost infrastructure and connectivity, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Haryana today. During his visit on the birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Prime Minister to flag off commercial flight from Hisar to Ayodhya and lay the foundation stone of the new terminal building of Hisar Airport. He will also inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of developmental projects in Yamunanagar. While boosting power infrastructure in the region along with the vision of electricity reaching the last mile, Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone of modern thermal power unit in Yamunanagar. This unit, spread across 233 acres, will significantly boost Haryana's energy self-sufficiency and provide uninterrupted power supply across the state. Taking forward the vision of Gobardhan, that is galvanizing organic bio-agro resources, Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone of a compressed biogas plant. The plant will have an annual production capacity of 2,600 metric tons and will help in effective organic waste management while contributing to clean energy production and environmental conservation. And India's Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw virtually flagged off a new train service from Dr. Ambedkar Nagar to New Delhi on Sunday, marking the occasion ahead of Ambedkar Jayanti. Speaking on the event, the Railways Minister said the new train connecting Ambedkar's birthplace with New Delhi is a tribute to his work and role as the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. And India's Defence Research and Development Organization carried out a successful trial of a laser-directed energy weapon system. The weapon system was tested at Andhra Pradesh's Kurnool. With this successful trial, India has joined the exclusive club of the global powers who possess the high-power laser-directed weapon system. It defeated the fixed-wing UAV and swarm drones, successfully causing structural damage and disable the surveillance sensors. The government has been focusing on the development of the directed energy weapons and hypersonic weapons to bolster India's defence prowess. The Indian Air Force is already working towards integrating these weapon systems into airborne platforms. And the Africa-India Key Maritime Engagement, the IKME, a 6-day multilateral naval exercise, has kicked off in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. India and Tanzania are co-hosting the exercise, which will run until April 18th and brings together 9 nations to strengthen maritime cooperation and regional security. Aligned with Prime Minister Modi's Mahasagar vision, the initiative marks a significant step towards holistic and mutual growth across the Indian Ocean region. And the Murshidabad district in West Bengal remained largely peaceful but tense. The Union Home Secretary held a video conference with Chief Secretary and DGP of West Bengal. The Secretary stated that apart from nearly 300 BSF personnel locally available in Murshidabad, additional 5 companies have been deployed at the request of the state government. The Union Home Secretary advised the state administration to keep a close watch on other sensitive districts also and to put in place adequate steps to ensure normalcy at the earliest. Union Home Secretary stated that the centre is also closely monitoring the situation and assured the state all possible assistance, including deployment of additional manpower if necessary. Meanwhile, the Bharatiya Janata Party held a rally in Kolkata demanding Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's resignation, imposition of President's rule and a probe by federal agencies into the violence. And on to some sports news now. Karan Nair's 89 off 40 went in vain as Mumbai Indians resisted a thrilling 12-run win over Delhi Capitals in an Indian Premier League match at Arun Jaitley Stadium on Sunday. Chasing 206, Delhi were bundled out for 193, losing their last 3 wickets and run out in just 1 over. Kuldeep Yadav was the pick of the bowlers for Delhi with figures of 2 for 23 in 4 overs. Earlier, Tilak Verma scored a gritty 50 as Mumbai posted 205 for 5 after getting an invitation to bat first. Meanwhile, Ryan Rickleton, Suryakumar Yadav and Naman Dheer also held Mumbai's scores. In the second innings, spin duo of Khan Sharma and Mitchell Santa brought Mumbai back in the game. Delhi batters poor running in the 19th over also held Mumbai as the Hardik Pandya-led side registered a narrow win. And India clinched a silver medal in the men's recurve team event at the Archery World Cup Stage 1 after losing 1-5 to China in the final on Sunday. The trio of Dheeraj Bomadevara, Tarundeep Rai and Atanu Das bagged India's 3rd medal of the season opening event. Earlier, India had secured a gold in the compound mixed team event and a bronze in compound men's team. Meanwhile, Abhishek Verma narrowly missed out on a podium, finishing 4th in the compound men's individual section. Dheeraj remains in contention in the men's recurve individual event slated later in the day. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.